Hey everybody, how's it going? I am Sethum and welcome back to another video. Today folks, I am going to be showing you some awesome base locations. Now, I haven't really counted out how many base locations there are in total for this video or I've got planned, so I'm not going to put a number to it, but I will show you what I find to be an interesting location to build a base. So if you folks enjoy this video, please do not forget to support me and the channel by hitting that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new and haven't already for more similar content. And if you have just subscribed, why not check out some of my other videos here on the channel, as I will be doing other videos for Ark Extinction as well as Fallout 76. Also, for those interested in hanging out with me, you can always find me on the Sethtopia Discord. Links to this, of course, can be found down below in the video description as well as in a pinned comment. So this is base location number 1 over here, where I've got all of my tests, and this is obviously on a local server, or local gameplay actually, but for some odd reason I like this, and I also like the fact that it's got this down here, so I could probably build a 2-tier base sort of deal going on. I might try and experiment with the bridges. As you can see, there's quite a bit of stuff around here. There's water underneath, so I can draw water from there. Obviously this is more of a PVE based location, and definitely a lot of space. Now, as you can see, there's going to be a lot of room. There's bridges going around. This is, like I said, a PvE sort of deal. And I'm going to be showing PvP bases as well, or locations for bases. And I quite like this, but not far from this is another interesting structure. It's this one over here. It's fairly flat, and this could be a very good location for a PvP base. Now, this would be more of an alpha tribe sort of deal base location, where you could build it on several tiers. Getting dinos up here would not be easy, if I'm honest. That is, of course, unless you've got a tech transmitter and you have a base set up on the ground and then a transmitter set up here, and then you use maybe, I would say, ramps in between these areas. But definitely a nice defendable location. It's going to be difficult to raid it. You can have it on several tiers. You can actually probably expand out quite a bit. I'm going to try and get a bit of a distance here to show you guys what the structure actually looks like. Quite good, difficult to raid. You could probably have a ramp going up to the first little platform. Alright, here we are with the second base location. Now, this thing is not big, but it does tick a lot of boxes. You've got water. There are some resources out of this that you can get. So you could get probably element dust, scrap metal, and some other bits and pieces. We've got plenty of wood and a decent size for a base location. So I just want to show you what this looks like. So as you can see, there are plenty of resources. Not a overly big location. Difficult to get big land dinos up here, unless you probably will use a tech transmitter. But it does have a lot to offer in terms of space, water, some resources, and definitely not an easy base to raid. I mean, I'm not sure how the Titans will affect PvP. I'm guessing they'll have a bit of an effect on PvP, and whoever does tame the Titans, well, if they have the Desert Titan, they can get up here quite easily and probably do a significant amount of damage. But overall, a decent base location. Just wanted to have a look at the size of this gate. Alright, so I'm going to show you another base location. The previous one was up there. Now this one does have 2 pathways to cover, but it is a good location. It does have water for a start. The size of this location is quite good as well, and you could probably section it off into several sections. So as you can see, we've got some stone, some wood. We've got some places to farm some scrap metal and element dust. Now this will be one pathway you have to cover, but you can bring land dinos up here, so that is the advantage of it. And the other path that comes to this location is over here. So these will be your two locations, two paths to protect. Fairly high off the ground. I mean, this is more work in terms of defending. It's also a good PVE based location. Definitely doable. And here are the coordinates for this location. You've got bits and pieces up there that you could build on if you really wanted to. And I think the good thing is the water up here. Alright, back with another base location. Again, this is in the main city where you start up. And this one is not that big, so it wouldn't be an alpha tribe sort of deal. Definitely a good defendable location in terms of PvP if you wanted to build up here. So this would be for your more smaller / medium tribe. And so this would be a place accessible primarily by flyers. You've got this ramp going up here, another flat surface to build on. Here are the coordinates for this location. So as you can see, decent space to build. You can definitely do something with this location. Alright, so here we are with the next location. Now this one is at a slight angle, as you can see from the foundations, and I would probably start building from the lowest end, then work my way up. It does have a lot of room, so you could build a decent base here. There's not really anything in terms of resources up here, as it is quite high off the ground. But if you look at the surroundings, it is quite defendable in terms of PvP combat. You could probably even use it as a PvE base. Definitely a lot of space. And maybe the only thing to consider would be the building spots above it, but there aren't very many of them. So this is an overall good location, as you can see, well off the ground. So land dinos up here are going to be difficult to get. Obviously, I have seen Quetzals on the map, so they can use that. But other than that, it is a good PvP base. I mean, you can even use it as a PvE base, but getting land dinos up here is not going to be very easy unless you use a Quetzal. There's also this area right here. Do bear that in mind. So if you're going to take that spot, you might want to cover this as well. Okay, so here we are with another wonderful base location. Now, this one is above a gateway at the border of the city. And as you can see, I've put down a cliff platform. Now, this is something you craft on Ark Aberration. But if you can transfer stuff like that over to Extinction, then you can definitely use that to extend your base and building platform. And just there you saw the coordinates for this location. Now there are 2 or 3 of these scattered about the city. Now obviously they'll be on the outer edges of the city, but this is just one of them that I'm going to show. And definitely a nice building area. Now it is off the ground, so the only way in would be via air. So I'm going to show you guys that you can actually place down platforms. They are a bit fiddly to do that, and I'm not going to focus too much on this because obviously I'm not sure if we're allowed to transfer stuff from Aberration. So, but if you can, this is going to come in quite handy. Alright, let's see. Let's try and put this down here. So as you can see, it's quite fiddly in terms of placing it down, but it is doable. I'm going to try and perfectly align it. There we go, that looks alright. You do get a bit more space by placing one of these down. And this is just to show you that you can actually build up here. We've got this dip right here that you can also use. And in terms of building space, there is plenty of things to do. You can have this area where you can stash things. Not big things, but still probably stash, or maybe just cover it up depending on what you want to do with it. Decent size overall, and these are the coordinates for this particular gate, so I'm leaving the GPS out so you guys can see. Whilst there aren't very many resources associated with this location, there is a lot of building space for it. So this is straight underneath the area that I just showed you. Again, another place that you can build. There's also a note over here that you can pick up. But again, a location where you can further build, so you can have it on several tiers. And this is just to show you that you can actually build structures here. So with this location, you can definitely build quite a decent base. I'd probably say this is more for a medium-sized tribe. And also associated with this location, you've got these things on the sides, which again, you can probably build defense towers or just add or link it to your main building. Up to you what you want to do with it and how confident you are with defending it. But overall, a good location to build a nice PvP base. Okay, so here we are with another location. This is again another PvP location, or a location where you could build a PvP base. You have got plenty of resources in terms of the wood. You got some stone. There's a note over here as well. But overall, this is a fairly large area. It does not have any pathways in and out of this spot. We've got this little hidey hole over here, so you could probably place down some bedrolls. I'm not sure what they're called anymore. I don't really use them very much. Or sleeping bags. That's it. That's the one. So you could even cover up the... like these little holes. You could cover them up with a base on either, or a part of the structure on either way. Have a doorway on the opposite side. As you can see, you can't place down the bed because you can't place down any foundations. But I'm going to show you where you can build. So as you can see, you can build pretty much anywhere and everywhere you want in this particular location. There are plenty of resources in terms of wood, so you can start out in wood. You just need a flyer to get up here. We've also got this spot right here at the top, so you can probably put some turret towers and stuff to overlook your base. As you can see, there is no land path into this location. You do have this bit over there at the top that you do have to keep in mind, so you don't want, in terms of PvP, other players dropping down onto your base. So you might want to cover this maybe with an additional part of the base, maybe a turret tower, up to you. But overall, a defendable base location in terms of what it has to offer. Obviously, you can build a waterless base, so you can place down the water tanks and wait for them to fill up. That means you will not be able to connect an industrial cooker to it, but it is totally doable. Now obviously this refers more to the PvP side of things. You can do this in PvE if you want, but if you're gonna play PvE, why would you want to build so high up off the ground? Bringing the land dinos up here is gonna be a bit of a pain, so your enclose and dodex and all that. Alright, here we are with the next location. Now this is in the wasteland. Now there is a bit of a problem here in that we do have corrupted creatures that do spawn. This is one of the paths leading up to this location. As you can see, it is quite flat, so very easy to build a giant base here. Now in terms of PvP, I could see an alpha tribe building up here, or you could definitely work with this if you are on a PvE server. nice amount of resources around. You do have water not far, and you can build a ginormous base if you wanted to. As I was saying before, there is a bit of an issue in that there will be corrupted dinos and they can damage metal and tech, so do bear that in mind. But it is in an area that does not have that many corrupted creatures. We do have a note over here for those that are interested. And then this is the second pathway up here that leads to this wonderful platform. It is a very big platform, and like I said, this could be both a PvE or PvP base. In terms of PvP, I could see an Alpha tribe using this, and in terms of the corrupted creatures, if you place down several turrets to defend the entrances, that'll be alright. I suppose this will be more of a PvE sort of base though, although it does have potential for a PvP location as well. It just means that there's a lot more to defend. We have that terminal over there which you can use. Now on this end there's nothing to worry about, but on the opposite end there is another ramp leading up, so you do have 3 entrances into this platform location. As you can see, I have not covered the domed biomes, so the forest, the ice, and the desert biome. I will show 2 locations in those particular biomes, but do bear in mind that the titans can be spawned there, so I don't know how that will affect someone building there both on PvP and PvE, so I don't really recommend them, which is why I'm going to save those locations for last. But over here, there isn't really all that much to worry about. Yes, we do get corrupted creatures, but this is quite easily defendable from the corrupted creatures. Plenty of building space, and just there you saw the coordinates. Okay, so over here we are in the desert biome. There's this right there where you could build a nice giant base. We've got water on that side of the, or on the left side of this platform. There is a road leading up. This would be more of an Alpha tribe sort of deal, but I'm not sure what to think about it, because just above this location the desert titan does spawn, or it can be spawned, so I'm not sure how that will affect PvP. I mean, people that know or have had experiences with it, please post down your experiences below. This would help people that want to build here in terms of what they can do, if they should build here and stuff like that. But over here you do have a ramp leading up to this particular location, so just one side to defend. My only fear would be the desert titan, as they can be quite big, powerful and strong. These are the coordinates for this particular location if you are interested in building here. However, don't forget about the titan spawning here. Okay, so here we are with another base location. Again, this can be both a PvE and PvP base location. You do have corrupted creatures spawning outside, but once again, as with the previous location, they aren't that powerful. You might get some Rexes and Spinos, but that's about it. No Wyverns around here. So, as I said before, the corrupted creatures can damage metal and tech, but it is a nice wide area that allows for a lot of building. It isn't flat, but as you can see, in terms of defenses, if you cover the entrances, you can defend quite well. You've got this flat surface right here, and as you can see, I can build on it, and so this could be a nice storage area. So you saw 2 entrances. There are 2 more entrances into this location, and there's this like pipe thing over here. You do also have water, so there is a benefit here, but this is a bit difficult to defend because it is kind of like a pipe. So with the way structures are placed in Ark, it's going to be a bit of a pain defending this particular area. So the other 2 entrances, one is behind me, the one is in front of me, but it brings you out here or close to the ice biome. So there is a bit of defending to do, but again, with several turrets, nothing that bad to defend. and I'd probably see this more as a PvE sort of base, to be fairly honest, but it does also have potential for a PvP location. Plenty of space, lots to work with, and I think you can even build on this structure right here. I don't know what you'd want to build, but let's test it out. Yeah, definitely can build up here, so you could probably build your beds up here. Probably what I would do. You've got some resources around here. Obviously, the other resources are quite far, but I suppose that is one of the compromises for this location. Okay, so now I am in the underground forest location, and this is another area that you can build at. Due to its location and being close to the entrance into this particular biome, I would probably suggest this as either an alpha based location for PvP, that would be for an alpha tribe, or a PvE based location. Not many creatures that can actually do damage to metal and tech here, as the corrupted creatures do not spawn. It is, I suppose, close to quite a few resources in the forest biome, as the biome itself is not that big. Alright folks, here we are with the final base location. This would be more of a PvP based location. It is off the ground, so it is rather defendable. It isn't all that flat, but you aren't close to the oil nodes. So I'm just going around with a foundation to show you guys where you can build. I would probably use a tech transmitter to get things up here. Maybe a thatch bridge to bring land dinos up as well, so that way it can be easily destroyed. And right there you can see the oil-like lake. So next to it you'll have oil, although I'd probably recommend having gotchas. So let's slow this down. We're going to try and see if we can place some of the metal platforms, metal cliff platforms from Aberration. So it seems like it can do that. I'm not sure if these things can be brought in from Aberration, but if you can bring them in from Aberration, you can definitely place these down to increase the size of your base. As it is off the ground, it is a bit more challenging to raid on a PvP server, as bringing land dinos up here will be a bit of a challenge. So I just wanted to show you guys that you can place down these things. I'm not sure, as I said, if you can bring them in. So these are the coordinates for this particular location. Overall, a decent size. I would probably start by building at the lowest point of this area and then build towards the higher portion of it. Now, the one thing I do not know is how these meteorites will affect bases built out here. That is it for this video, folks. These were the base locations that I thought were interesting and where people could build. If you folks have enjoyed it, please don't forget to let me know by hitting that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more similar content. If you have any information with regards to these locations or any experiences, share them down below, as I'm sure this will help people wanting to build in any of these locations that I have shown in this video. If you want another video like this, also do ask for them. I'm happy to go looking for more locations. This is a wonderful map with a lot of things to offer, especially with regards to base locations. If you have just subscribed to the channel, remember to hit that bell icon so that you get notified when I upload new videos. And for those interested in hanging out with me, or if you have any questions or any requests for other videos, you can always find me on the Sethtopia Discord. Links to this, of course, can be found down below in the video description, as well as in a pinned comment from myself. Until next time, stay safe, folks.